30th एपिसोड ऑफ नागपुर लाइव शो जिसका नाम है राज की बात विमेन ऑफ द ईयर के साथ रियली वांट टू थैंक पारेख ब्रदर्स जूलर्स प्रेजेंटिंग राज की बात विमेन ऑफ द ईयर इन एसोसिएशन विद पहनावा बुटीक which is in Sadar and Dharampet. Also a big thank you to Mampi reusable diapers for children, LIC bole to Vinay Sahu, and ladies can make money and save it at Money Edge. मेरी आज की मेहमान जो है वो कई वर्षों से महिलाओं को आगे बढ़ाने की कोशिश में लगी हुई हैं. रंग रेशा उनका ये ब्रांड बड़ा ही पॉपुलर ब्रांड है between ladies and a lot of people in central India. Also, she was born and brought up in Ratnagiri in Pune, and now have been working for more than 20 years in social service. One lady to whom a lot of people have respect and regards. Please welcome my guest today, Mrs.Vishaka Rao Women. Ma'am, namaskar.
थैंक यू राज.
मैम, स्वागत आपका राज की बात में. पहले तो धन्यवाद कि आपने अपने कीमती वक्त से वक्त निकाला और आप राज की बात पर आप मेहमान बनकर आई, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. मैम, लेट्स स्टार्ट फ्रॉम दैट रत्नागिरी गर्ल. मैम, व्हाट्स योर स्टोरी?
रत्नागिरी girl was a simple girl, no exposure to any of the worldly things, but it was a very good life. My father used to work with a government service, so we quite enjoyed actually our Ratnagiri days. And of course, as you know, Ratnagiri is all green, so that environment, love for environment is ingrained in us. We just take greenery for granted, and we have been working towards it now.
Ma'am, post your life at Ratnagiri, you went to Pune. You also, did education there in, with Ferguson. Tell us a little bit about it.
Before Ferguson, I was with Wilson. And from Ratnagiri to Wilson definitely was a cultural shock. So you can just imagine. Those were difficult years. And that is one of the reasons why I think my father decided it is better that I shift to Pune, which was a very, very friendly atmosphere and not so high-flying thing. I did my graduation in physics, and after that I did my MBA in marketing from Pune University, and those were wonderful, wonderful days.
The best days of my life.
Best years of my life, really. And that was actually a base where I started thinking about new things, what I should really be doing in future and things. And immediately after that, I took a job in Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers, and again shifted back to Mumbai. And again those were very good years, formative years, where the career starts. And RCF has really given me a good footing to start my life.
Ma'am, when you came to Nagpur, you also had a journey here, where you worked one of the best institutions in Nagpur city.
Yeah, initially I worked with PC Point, and then I worked with PIX transmissions for quite some time. And PIX again was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And we started a small way, and when I left the organization, when I started here and when I left the organization was here, and so was my growth. But I was traveling quite a bit. I used to travel 15 days a month, and then my children were growing up, so I needed to shift. So I eventually shifted to training, and then I took up a job with Ramdev Baba. They had started a management institution. Even before that, I used to go to other places for freelancing, because that was my love. And then whatever we understand and learn as a part of the corporate job, we have to give back to the students in the society or the student community. But then we took up a job with Ramdev Baba Management Institution, myself, and I am saying we. Now, my colleague Sharmishta, who has been working with me for last 20 years. So both of us, we came together in Ramdev Baba Management Institution. When we came together, then we decided let's start something of our own.
Yes.
So we started a marketing research agency in the name of Leading Edge Market Research Agency. And that was the first of its kind in Central India at that time. And we had 100 plus clients locally as well as pan-India, where we were giving services to Asian Paints, Nerolac, HLL, and number of like clients here, Raisoni Group, Kurti Group, TBZ. Yeah, you can really like see the list where we had all these prestigious clients. Now, to take the story forward to our today's topic, simultaneously we were also conducting marketing workshops. And one of the workshops we conducted for NGO heads. And NGO heads from Vidarbha, they all attended this 3-day workshop, which was, I remember, it was sponsored by SIDBI. And then like they were quite like impressed with the workshop, and all these NGO heads, they started asking whether like you can guide the women groups which are associated with us. So that is how actually like myself and Sharmishta, we went to Gadchiroli and specifically in Kochi block, and we started interacting with the tribal women groups there. And then probably like actually we understood that there are a number of products which can be standardized, branded, and which can be brought into the market. So we started with hand pounded rice, and we started with a cluster, development of cluster of hand pounded rice. And that was with one of the NGO that was working there, which was Ami Amcha Arogya Sakhi. And then we did the branding, we did the standardization, we did the marketing linkages for them and things. And that is how our journey of working with women started. And then in 2004 we registered our organization and started giving Aroha. Aroha is the name of our NGO. And then we started giving consultancy as well as trainings through this NGO to number of women groups, as well as to governmental organizations, as well as to different societies and NGOs working in this segment.
Ma'am, when you work into a corporate field, then you also work in an institution, and then when you come up with an organization which is into helping women and taking their talent to another level, or probably helping them grow in life, ma'am, how is the feel of the responsibility? Do you also get upset at times that the responsibility which you are taking probably is the responsibility of people living in the society, or administration, or government?
Initially we used to feel frustrated because we were really like putting in lot of efforts in training them, and as we know in corporate we are always like, and especially when we come from the market research field, we always used to like go back and take a feedback.
Right, ma'am.
Okay, what is happening? And in these feedbacks, what we realized that initially the organizations or the women group, they are all very elated, and then they start with lot of enthusiasm. Even the governmental organizations, and then they reach to a particular level, and then it comes down. Sometimes then when we started speaking to them like, why have you stopped the activity when it was doing so well? The governmental organization, it was very clear that the officer gets transferred, and then initiative somebody has taken, the other officer is not so enthusiastic about it. And in NGO segment, sometimes they have no funding.
Absolutely.
Sometimes they have some other difficulties. And in case of women groups, they need a mentor. they need a regular mentor who would be motivating them, because it's absolutely a hard struggle for them. I'll give you an example. Actually, in Wardha district, we started a cluster of women who, like, we started with 600 women. It was with a government agency, and they were also given the machinery through the government on a subsidized basis. And after 2-3 years, they did not know where to go for the maintenance of the machinery.
Right, ma'am.
And then machinery, if it is not working, how will they work? So nobody was there to support them even on a simple thing, that how will they maintain the machinery? Who's the agency who's going to see the maintenance? And if there is a breakdown, if there is any other problem, who's going to go to a village and help them out?
Ji.
So for such a simple thing, the activity gets stopped. So that is how then we decided that, okay, let's work on mentoring them as well, and hand holding is very important. So when we started working with the women at Nagpur and surrounding Nagpur, then hand holding is a must. That is what we realized the hard way, and that is how this activity Rangaresha is the brand now, and we are definitely helping them in marketing the products that they make.
So, ma'am, past 20 years now, the initiative which has been taken by your NGO, how did it start when it comes to making these, fabric-oriented products? How did you introduce them into the market? And what was the response by a buyer, the end user?
Yeah, it's very interesting actually. We did not start with fabric initially when we were actually working with women. We have reached up to 24,000 women from Vidarbha right now, and the success rate is 65%.
Wow.
65% women have started their own enterprises. Now let's understand why is this success rate.
Yeah.
Because we are not imposing a particular activity on them. We do a very systematic study, what is the skills that they have, what is the need of the area, and where there is a market available, whether there is a raw material available, and how can these women take it forward. So if it is a niche market available, then this group succeeds.
Absolutely.
If you have to see that you have to make a outside market available to them, then it's a difficult task, because they do not basically have that much of resources to reach out to the market and understand the marketing so well, the packaging part of it, the discount structure, and the channel, basically the development of channels. It's very difficult for them to manage. So basically we have always started with activities where there would be a local market. So mostly in Vidarbha, but when we started working in this fabric based segment, we also had in mind that there is around 10,000 crore market of Ari Zardosi and Sherwani here at Nagpur itself.
You're talking about 10,000 crores?
Yeah. And we thought when we train these women, we will be able to link it to them. We will just teach them about value addition, and the market is there. So definitely, yeah, it's at the same place. So we just have to do the linkages.
Absolutely.
And just we will be out of it.
Right.
But it did not happen that way. Actually, the women got skills which were newly acquired skill, and the speed was not there. And the market requires everything yesterday.
Yeah.
They require new designs. They require
high demand.
Not a high demand. They need a better skills.
Okay.
That was one of the things. But even then, we managed to get orders for these women groups who started working on Ari Zardosi and hand embroidery. But again, a work culture. There is death in the family or in the village, and then they would not work.
Hmm.
And then market doesn't accept this.
Absolutely.
So we lost both ways. Another particular thing about this market was they had their set of workers who were Biharis and who also were coming from West Bengal and Bangladesh. So they had the tradition of this work. They were very fast, they were superly skilled, and our women group simply could not match.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big learning for us, and now a big challenge. And what are we going to do?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because these women groups by then were looking at us as like we are going to give them something at least to see that they are something supplementary income kind of a thing.
Right.
So eventually we started working on some products where we started teaching them tailoring.
Mm-hmm.
And tailoring plus value addition made a good product, which then we started branding as Rangresha.
Mm-hmm.
And then today we have 80 plus products.
Mm-hmm.
And some women now are independently working. They are working on uniform making. They are working on school uniforms as well as security uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
They are also working on baby wear.
Mm-hmm.
Then they are working on various other products like bags and purses,
Mm-hmm.
which they are doing it independently. So they are also working on the product designs that we give them, but they are also working on independently.
Ji.
The beauty of the whole thing today is they are able to work from the comfort of their house, and they are able to work in flexible timings.
Mm-hmm.
So they are now not consider themselves as employees.
Mm-hmm.
They are considered themselves as artisans. So that's a good transformation from an ordinary, a simple homemaker to an accomplished artisan.
And when it comes to women, do you think somewhere that women have have that talent and they still don't come out of homes and they take that talent to another level, they flourish, they create a brand value of themselves?
They definitely have a good talent, and main thing is they have the aspiration
Mm-hmm.
and they have the capacity to work hard.
Ji.
But mostly what we have seen, what happens that when they get married,
Mm-hmm.
they get married at a fairly early age,
Right now.
and then they have no employable skills,
Mm-hmm.
because our education system is really not giving them any employable skills.
Right now.
And if they have no skills, ultimately like in cities, they end up working as a house help and
Mhm.
start earning quite well, even as a house help. But if you go to a periphery or if you go to a village, then everybody is working in their own houses.
Right,
They
ma'am.
do not need a house help.
Mhm.
So that option is not there. So then they have to have the skill,
Mm-hmm.
and which is what we are trying to really give them a skill which will supplement their income. I'm still not saying that they will be able to run the household completely on their own income, because they are not working full time.
Right. This is
They're
a part-time
still
thing.
working. Yeah, they're still working in a flexible timing
Mhm.
where they would be working at the most 3 to 4 hours a day.
Mhm.
Because they're looking after the children, they're looking
Right.
after the household. They are also trying to see that they keep all the members of the family happy.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes a lot of time.
But ma'am, your experience of these 20 years when you were into not just taking women entrepreneurship to another level of helping these ladies, making them artisans, helping them get trained and grow in life, but ma'am, you've also touched issues like environment as a subject. And ma'am, what is your take on the situation right now where there are skyscrapers coming, there are a lot of government projects coming, and these trees are getting chopped haywire?
It's a very sad scenario, and less said the better about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we started working as Hirvai, which was an offshoot of Aroha. The
Right.
project was Hirvai.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, actually, we started working on, like you said, like saving trees, and like whenever we used to find that tree is being felled, all of us, we used to go and like fight.
Mm.
But ultimately, we realized that it is getting no results.
Mm.
We end up fighting the neighbors. We end up fighting
The
good people,
political
And-
good people.
good people,
Mm.
and ultimately, it is giving us no results,
Mm.
because basically our tree act itself is very weak,
Mm.
and if act itself is weak, we cannot really fight through our act. So
Mhm.
ultimately, what is with us is educate on environment. So we started taking Green Finger Award competition in the schools, and oh my goodness, it was actually like we took it for 10 years. We
Mhm.
started in 2007,
Mhm.
and we carried out till 2017. Every year around 3,000 to 5,000 students used to participate,
Mhm.
and most of the schools from Nagpur used to participate
Mhm.
in the competition,
Mhm.
and that was a very hands-on thing what we used to really like promote.
Mhm.
Like basically it was uh, increasing greenery.
Right.
So even a kid which is going to KG, he used to plant a small seed and see it growing and picturize it,
Mhm.
and that was a competition.
Mhm.
Then uh, from first to fourth, it used to be a kitchen garden making. Then fifth, sixth, seventh used to be nursery development,
Mhm.
and
Eight,
eighth and
nine.
ninth
Hmm.
used to be tree census of a particular area.
Okay.
And they used to do it very scientifically,
Mhm.
and we have created number of green ambassadors through this process, and schools have also adopted green practices, and students after passing out from the school, they have started their own environmental groups. Today number of them are environmental activists,
Ji.
and they are doing a good work for the environment. Right now through Aroha we have adopted 10 NMC schools, and we are also working with Deaf and Dumb,
Mhm.
where we are developing kitchen gardens for them.
Okay.
So, and also we are teaching them composting, we are teaching them kitchen garden activity, and we have developed some videos as well, educational videos. And through those videos, we are also teaching them conservation practices.
Mhm.
So it's very very satisfying on the environmental issues. And last year, like let me say very proudly that we have started working on urban forest,
Mhm.
and we have planted 10,000 saplings of native variety,
Mhm.
and we are going to nurture them for 3 years.
Ma'am, this new policy which will be introduced very soon is the new education policy, the NEP, which talks more about making India skillful. Where you mentioned that our education system has nothing to do about skills. Now, they are introducing with courses which would talk about making someone not just educated but also skillful. What's your take on that?
I think that's very. It's a very absolutely a welcome and necessary move.
Mhm.
In fact, I remember like I did a couple of years in Central School in Pune,
Mhm.
and that time itself we were like given some sort of skills education. I remember like we were taught how to make pickles and jams.
Mhm.
Then also like we had some tutorials related to stitching, and I
Mhm.
still remember those skills.
Mhm.
So if you like really start at a young age,
Mhm.
I'm sure like we will have a proper skills in students,
Mhm.
which should really be able to help them in earning something out of those skills.
Ma'am, when you now experience the success, not completely, but then appreciation or a recognition where people, come buy products of made by Rangresha, and there is a lot of support, commercial support, monetary support to these ladies. Ma'am, do you feel satisfied, or it's not just halfway?
I'm definitely satisfied right now what we have achieved, but we still have to do a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One thing is the sustainability.
Mm-hmm. And how do you express that, ma'am?
Sustainability has number of ways. One thing is of course the environmental impact.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you see lot of our products, most of our products are eco-friendly,
Mm-hmm.
and secondly very low carbon footprints.
Mm-hmm.
They're all handmade,
Mm-hmm.
and except for one or two items, we are not really like using anything artificial which will remain on earth for longer time.
Okay.
So everything mostly is biodegradable.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
office stationery, everything, whatever we make, is we are using a paperboard, handmade paperboard inside, and handmade pages.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly we are using grey cotton material. We have value addition where we are using block prints and everything,
Mm-hmm.
which are again in-house.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever we are doing is on low carbon footprints.
Ma'am-
This is one of the sustainability factor. Another thing, sorry.
Yeah. Another thing.
Another thing is the commercial factor.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be sustainable, and it should without our help or without any external funding, this women group should be able to stand on their own feet. That is our motto, and we are working towards it now.
Ma'am, now past these more than now 10 years now, when there was a lot of appreciation, people got connected, good artisans came in contact, good products were being made, there was a lot of sale to it, and the money or the fund started flowing when it comes to helping these women, helping these artisans. Ma'am, when you look back, I'm talking about just Mrs. Vishaka Rao Jathar. When you look back all these years, ma'am, there have been a lot of receiving, there's a lot of a success which you have received, a lot of appreciation, blessings, compliments, adorance. Ma'am, what do you see as a loss, or you see no losses?
I think like what we were earning in the corporate segment, we don't earn that way. But luckily for me, what happened, like my children got settled pretty early, so that was all like taken care of, and so we didn't really feel the pinch that way. But yes, the earning in corporate segment and whatever like we do in this social segment, monetarily there
Nothing
is
great.
there is lot of difference. Yeah.
Ma'am, my last three questions. One is that with changing of times, political systems, administration, bureaucracy, changing its moods and powers and elements, the society changing with technology and their ethics and values. Ma'am, what we are lacking is something which should be alarming. What do you think is the alarm is?
The alarming thing is we just want to extract everything from the natural resources, and we do not want to give anything back, especially in the urban scenario. We just want to be comfortable without thinking what is the impact, what our lifestyle is having on environment and the natural resources, and is it going to be sufficient for the future generations to come. and they are definitely going to get over sometime or the other, because natural resources are limited. So unless we give back something, I'm not even saying society, unless we give back something to the environment, it's not going to sustain itself. Whether it is water, whether it is soil, anything, everything in fact. And nobody wants to think about it. Everybody just wants to be comfortable, and we want to have nice AC room, we want to have good water, we want to have good food, without thinking that what is our positive contribution to this.
Ma'am, when you know this somewhere that there was a lot of, if you might have just continued working in a corporate field or into an institution, you might have reached big heights. I mean, I'm sure if you might have been working with an institution, you might have been on the 7th pay commission, and you might have been earning good. Your bank balance would have said more than the words which you are speaking now. But then, ma'am, now when every morning when you wake up, what pushes you out of the bed to come and work for Aroha, or work for Angresha, or work for these artisans?
It's a commitment. It's a commitment, is the inspiration now.
You don't regret to it?
No, I don't regret. Yes, the regret was like, see, I started with a public sector job,
Right,
so
ma'am.
which was the most secure, and as you say, like definitely I would have been like at the top of the organization today. But whatever we have been able to give, and the freedom that it has given me to work at my own pace, I think it has been a wonderful journey.
Ma'am, how can you be so chilled out? I'm sitting in a room with you which does not have an AC. You're sitting under a fan, just the doors are open. With this grace, with this smile on the face, ma'am, how can you be so cool about it?
Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't really miss AC so much. Of course, we do have coolers.
No, I'm not talking about just the air conditioning thing here. But ma'am, with resources I'm talking about. But ma'am, without I'm saying that, without the resource, without things which you can use it on an everyday basis and have that grace on of your face, without it, how can you manage it out? आपकी उम्र से आपकी त्वचा का पता ही नहीं चलता, या आपकी त्वचा से आपकी उम्र का पता ही नहीं चलता. How do you manage both of this, ma'am?
I think that is something what Ratnagiri days has taught us, to work with minimum resources. And I think I'm quite indebted to my teachers then, that they have taught us to live simply, and that has somewhere not gone out of my system. So,
Ma'am,
that is what it is.
Ma'am, is there something which you really want to do, which is probably very crazy, and you really want that to happen soon in life?
Two things. One thing is, I don't know whether I'll be able to do it, but I want to definitely venture out and do Narmada Parikrama. And secondly, I want to have my own painting exhibition sometime.
Ma'am, the day you plan that, I promise you, RJ Raj will put all his resources in place and ensure that your painting exhibition is a hit.
Thank
I
you
promise
so
you
much.
that.
I look forward to it, Raj.
Super. Ma'am, अगर जिंदगी की एक सुनहरी किताब, दिस इज माय लास्ट क्वेश्चन टू यू मैम, अगर जिंदगी की एक सुनहरी किताब लिखी गई, उस किताब के सुनहरे पन्ने पर ये नाम लिखा गया, विशाखा राव जथर. मैम, इस नाम के नीचे वो कौन सा कोट, वो कौन सी लाइन, वो कौन सी बात लिखी रहनी चाहिए जिसे पढ़ने के बाद लोग आपको याद करें, लोग आपको नमन करें और लोग आपके जैसे बनना चाहें?
A very difficult question.
Out of the course, out of the syllabus.
Very much so. एक वो मराठी गाना है, मैं आई कांट रियली लाइक नो द वर्डिंग्स प्रॉपर्ली, बट आई वुड से जीवनात ही घडी अशीच राहू दे. So let me keep working towards the society and let me be happy in that.
Ma'am, you are an inspiration for all those, teeny weeny girls out there, all these women, all these ladies, all these girls out there who always probably had a desire to do something for the society. But people like you, when you come in society, you work and you show your strengths. And your strengths are not, getting the best resources when it comes to, materialistic things. But, that power, that strength which you have inside you to take lives to another level is something which should be learnt. And I think, for people you might be human, but for me you are a book. A book which will give, which will give you an opportunity to learn the best practices of life and grow in life. मैम, आपने अपना वक्त दिया, आपने हमें इंस्पायर किया, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
I'm
ma'am.
absolutely touched.
It's
by
an
what you
honor,
said.
ma'am. It's an honor meeting you. Thank you so much. मिसेस विशाखा राव जथर मैम से मुलाकात हुई, बात हुई इन राज की बात. कितनी खूबसूरत बात है कि कोई अपने जीवन को इस तरह से समर्पित करता है, जिसके बाद ना ही सिर्फ वो खुद के, बट ऐसी कई हजारों महिलाएं हैं जिनका नाम, जिनका चेहरा, जिनका अस्तित्व आज खिल रहा है, क्योंकि एक महिला ने अपने काम के प्रति, अपनी समाज को सेवा करने के प्रति जो अपना वादा है उसे पूरा करने के लिए अपनी पूरी ताकत लगा दी. अब ऐसी महिलाओं को आप क्या कहेंगे, जिन्हें शायद ज्वेलरी की जरूरत नहीं है, जिन्हें शायद अच्छे कपड़ों की जरूरत नहीं है, जिन्हें शायद सबसे अच्छे मेकअप की जरूरत नहीं है, जिन्हें शायद बस एक किसी के चेहरे पे अगर उनकी वजह से मुस्कान आ जाए, बस वो एहसास की जरूरत है कि हमारी वजह से कोई कुछ कर पाया, कहीं पहुंच पाया, किसी की जिंदगी में निखार आया. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जितने भी ये ब्यूटी पार्लर चलाने वाले, ब्यूटी सैलून चलाने वाले लोग हैं, उन्होंने ये चीज सीखनी चाहिए कि जिंदगी में अगर किसी के चेहरे पे वाकई में ये खूबसूरती आती है, तो उसका कारण बेस्ट ऑफ मेकअप मटेरियल नहीं है. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि वो संतुष्टता है. करेक्ट कीजिएगा अगर मैं गलत शब्द बोल रहा हूँ. सेटिस्फैक्शन है. एंड पीपल लाइक विशाखा राव जथर मैम, when these people come in the society, when these people do something for the society, when these people bring a change in the society, वो satisfaction आता है. ये ऐसे भी लोग हैं जो सिर्फ खुद के लिए नहीं, दूसरों के लिए भी जीते हैं. क्योंकि ये सवाल नहीं है कि दुनिया में लेके आए हैं क्या, दुनिया से लेके जाएंगे क्या. सवाल ये बिल्कुल नहीं है. सवाल ये है कि जब जाएंगे तो तुमको याद आएंगे क्या हम करेंगे कुछ ऐसा काम कि हमारे जाने के बाद दुनिया लेगी हमारा नाम. ये सवाल है, और इस सवाल का जवाब लोग 60 साल 70 साल की उम्र के आने के बाद करना शुरू करते हैं, जब वो तीर्थ यात्रा पे निकलते हैं, जब वो समाज को वापस देने की बात करते हैं. पर एक महिला पिछले 25-30 सालों से सिर्फ यही कर रही है, तो उन्हें आप क्या कहेंगे. मुझे तो ऐसा लगता है कि कई बार रात को जब अपनी गहरी नींद और अपने गहरे सपनों में विशाखा राव सोती होंगी, तब ईश्वर आके उनको बहुत हल्के से माथे पे हाथ रख के आशीर्वाद दे के खुश होके जाते होंगे कि वाकई में मैंने एक ऐसी चीज भी बनाई जिसे भेजने के बाद आज दुनिया मुझे धन्यवाद करती है. आपसे फिर होगी मुलाकात इन राज की बात. तब तक आप अपना ध्यान रखें, सुरक्षित रहें, स्वच्छ रहें, स्वस्थ रहें, मस्त रहें, खुश रहें, व्यस्त रहें, परिवार के साथ एक अच्छा वक्त बिताएं. और अगर आपके परिवार में एक छोटी सी बेटी है जो अपने पड़ोसी में रहने वाले बहुत ज्यादा सक्षम परिवार से एक छोटी सी बेटी की पेंटिंग देखती है और उसकी बहुत तारीफ करती है, और उसके बाद फिर वो कहती है कि रुक मैं दूसरों को दिखा के आती हूँ, और वहां से वाहवाही लूट कर आती है और इन्हें वाहवाही वापस दे देती है। तो समझिए वो मिसेस विशाखा राव जथर बन रही है। जिंदा रहें। जय हिंद।